So that was one of the things that I often think back to now and has kind of become a little bit of a mantra or something I think about is how can I actually involve the kids in some of the stuff that might be adult, things that you're going and doing something, but there's
Yeah,
value in those
incredibly
moments.
valuable.
So yeah.
Think back to your own childhood doing stuff like that with your dad. Like, as soon as you said going to the dump, I've gone,
Yeah.
man, that used to be so much fun. I imagine it would have been boring a lot. And I imagine there was lots of sitting around. I don't remember any
Yeah.
of those times. I do remember finding weird stuff when you'd go and sift through other people's rubbish. I remember the smells. I remember riding in the back of the trailer illegally because it was the early 80s. You're allowed to do that back then. But you're right. Like those memories, they were fun. And I'm sure it took Dad twice as long to go to the dump and back with me and my brother in tow than what I would have done on his own.
Well, yeah, now that you say that, like I think back to some of the stuff that happened in my
Mhm.
childhood, and my granddad owned a joinery. And so he'd always be, delivering windows, doors, kitchens, whatever it was. He'd have to go and take stuff in his car, go see a customer, fix something little up. And we'd often be at our Nana and Granddad's house. And so we'd often hop in the back of the car. It was a little Ford Falcon station wagon that had one of those special trailers with, and I just remember all those blue sticky dots.
Yep.
So they're like a little rubber sticker to basically stop the aluminium from smashing against the trailer. And like, I always just remember, that's what I remember about Granddad's car is like the little blue dots, because they'd be everywhere. Like they'd be on the back of the trailer where they're supposed to be, but there'd be a bunch of them that had just come off stuff and were in the back of the car. You'd pick them up and you'd play with them. And like, I just remember going on all these little things. And also we'd, go with him, do cool experiences as well, like down to the rugby and things like that. But I definitely remember just tagging along in the back of the car because, maybe Nana had my brother and sister with her or whatever. And so Granddad had to take one of them to kind of, help carry the load. I don't know, if Mum and Dad were with us or not on that day or what, but I just remember being, in back of Granddad's,
nice.
white, I think pretty sure it was a white Falcon.
That's cool.
So yeah.
Picked up on something you said there, like the letting kids see how things are done, like rather than being on your blocks, being on a iPad or a screen or doing an activity, like being, and we always, I think as parents, we love talking about having our children being engaged in their activities as if we're really cool scientists / psychologists and we actually know what we're talking about. We're
Creating
we're
a
doing a
learning
fine thing.
experience or something like
And
that.
what I've discovered now is by not letting our kids or not letting people see the work that goes into building something, we're creating this culture of entitlement. Because you go, well, that was easy. I didn't see the work go into that. You just see it appear. So if all you ever see is the finished product,
Yeah.
you go, oh, here it is. And in my world, it's just appeared out of nowhere. I've been engaged in a task and here it is. That's how the world works. And until we actually start showing people the work and going, the work is kind of boring. The work is tedious. The work can be really sucky. The results are great, but the work is something different. And I think learning how to enjoy those boring bits is kind of the key to not only athletic success, but success in life or parenting or anything.
Anything. Yeah. Yeah. And I think that's one of the other parts, like, I think we often think about having to like have, what is it, like those big moments, like taking the child to the rugby game or going to the cinema or whatever it is, like actually going out and doing something. And that's, another one of those things that actually the everyday boring moments are actually some of the things, like if you probably think back to your childhood, it's not always going to be those grand things that you remember. Sure, there's going to be a lot, a number of those that will really stick out.